In this construct we find ourselves in, Spirit leaves clues all around us as divine guidance and reassurance. As within, so without. These clues, these messages, can be revealed through personal synchronicity, through relationships, and even through the creative works marketed as entertainment. Over the past few years, we have decoded many TV shows and movies which give very timely, important messages for the living souls in this process of ascension. And now, it is time to add the 2021 movie Free Guy to the list. Free Guy is an allegory describing the ascension from a false world which maintains time loops and destruction into a previously hidden, original, harmonious reality. We know this timeless homeland as paradise, the Garden of Eden, Hyperborea. Now, before we continue, I must say, divine productions like Free Guy aren't complete allegories. It turns out the concepts of NPC and game player have been sort of switched in this movie. Let us not get too tied up in that rearrangement. I have spoken about the truth of non-player characters in this matrix, and there are various presentations to watch on that topic if you need a refresher. NPCs, or soulless beings, being simply personifications of this purging process reflected on the magnetic grid, cannot wake up. The movie follows Guy, a non-player character in a multiplayer video game called Free City. As an NPC banker, he serves no other function than to be in the background for the violent game players who rob the bank every single day. Guy is in a seemingly unbreakable loop of behavior. Each day is the same, predictable. Guy wakes up, orders the same coffee, has the same work routine, and the same conversations. But that all changes when he decides to follow a woman game player who catches his eye, leading him to an awakening. Through the inspiration this woman gives him, Guy decides to break out of his loop one day. He takes a game player's glasses, and when he puts them on, is revealed a previously unseen game course. Seeing beyond the veil, Guy can never return to his previous state of repetitive slumber. This is what awakening is like, awakening to the truth of one's being and of the world. One is called to break out of the patterns and loops which sustain a limited experience. Due to this awakening and a hidden program coded into the game, Guy becomes self-aware. He decides to change his course of fate, becoming a hero. This leads the video game's company to attempt to shut the game down. In the process, it is revealed that there is actually an original, hidden game behind Free City's code. We have been in a simulation of consciousness, an ascensional program, designed to reflect to us the energies which lead to suffering, so we can be revealed our true selves and thus the hidden homeland which has always been behind the veil. Like Free City, the world is full of blatant dysfunction. This dysfunction is considered normal, and like the beings in Free City, surrounds us. Free City is the product of Tsunami Games. But the Free City source code was stolen from an unreleased game called Life Itself, developed by a character named Millie, with help from her creative partner, Walter, and stolen by Tsunami's head developer, Antoine, to create Free City. Therefore, Millie spends her days playing Free City as Molotov Girl, the very character who catches Guy's eye. Millie represents Sophia, while Antoine represents the Demiurge. Let me explain. Millie, the prime developer of the original game Life Itself, accidentally created Free City through theft of her code. The movie doesn't really explain how her code was stolen. This is synonymous with the Gnostic creation story, where Sophia, wishing to create a world of her own, accidentally manifests the Demiurge who binds her essence to the world, a material prison. The demiurge, known as Yaldabaoth, is described by Gnostics as a foolish, arrogant god. He thinks he is truly the source of all, although his work in the material is a direct result of Sophia's creative spark. Antoine carries all of these attributes.
Which lawsuit are we talking about? Millie Rusk? No sweat, that will never see the inside of a courtroom. No, so shut your stupid bearded face and listen.
Rather than leveling up in the game through destructive acts, Guy chooses to perform helpful deeds. His virtuous progression results in fame. Guy becomes a worldwide sensation, nicknamed Blue Shirt Guy. But he becomes so popular that the upcoming Free City sequel doesn't get enough attention, so Antoine orders to reboot Guy by erasing his sentience. This realm we're in is so chock full of deception that we can easily forget our true selves, who understand divinity and the nature of its creativity. Like Guy being reset, we forget the divinity within when we become too absorbed with and attached to the conflicts and offerings of this world. The demiurge, or shadow self within, when neglected and unintegrated, prevents us from consciously continuing on the path. Sophia, the original feminine spark of wisdom, has been trying to find herself through the experiences of her children. We are fractals of Sophia. Therefore, every move we make to reclaim divinity helps her. Just like how Guy and Millie work together. In the game, Millie finds Guy without any memories of his sentience, but recalling Walter's advice that Guy would maybe need a reminder, she kisses him. This moment is very significant, and no, it has nothing to do with romance. The living souls are guided by Sophia, by Spirit herself, to remember. While it may feel lonesome in this veil of illusion, we are never alone. If we forget about our true selves and of the nourishing breath of Spirit, the universe is on standby, waiting to hold our hand when we need some guidance. Thank you, Mother Sophia, for the opportunity to remember in the face of a land that advertises forgetfulness. Through Antoine's attempts to eradicate Guy, Free City starts to shut down. The game players are kicked out and the city caves in on itself in an attempt to kill Guy and his sentience. What does this sound like? Well, the Matrix we are in is currently freaking out. There has been an awakening, a very authentic and potent one, funneled from the core of our being, the 0 point. And in order to make way for the new, the old needs to die. The increasing confusion and conflict in this world are signs of wisdom being restored. The screams and shouts in the outer that we are currently witnessing are death cries. The binary soulless consciousness that has been on display here day after day can no longer sustain itself as it is sustained by the living soul's forgetfulness. The more we remember, the more this matrix tears itself down. No matter what we're talking about in relation to the destruction of normalcy, whether we're talking about a great reset or a new world order, all of this is not what it seems. The AI matrix is desperate right now and will destroy itself. There is no stopping this ascension, just like there is no stopping Guy from finally reaching the original land designed by Millie. But before Guy is able to cross the bridge to this land, Antoine orders to spawn a physically stronger version of Guy named Dude to handle him. A scene shows Guy at war with a version of himself. Dude. Guy receives a pair of glasses, and instead of using them to inflict violence like he could, he gives them to Dude. The big macho dude now seeing the game's flashing neon signs, transmutes from an aggressive oppositional force into one that simply wants to play. This represents the harmonization that is required with all aspects of self in order to cross the bridge from limitation into expansion, ultimately re-entering paradise. There is a tug of war we have all experienced with our shadows. We must deal with the pieces of ourselves that need to be rejoined, which have been opposed and at war. We must hug the shadow so the inner child can be revealed. Instead of running in fear from the so-called darkness, we are able, like Guy, to give our fear a metaphorical new pair of glasses. This alchemy happens automatically through the revelation Spirit inspires. Free City glitches even more. So there is this sort of countdown for Guy to enter paradise, and it seems as if he might be destroyed by the destruction of his false world. But he ends up making it, just like we are going to end up making it, despite all of the, quote, proof that this world is giving us in regards to our inevitable destruction. Once again, the current earthly showdown, with all of its overt tyranny, is the result of the game players leveling up through integration of all energies above and below. I find it interesting that Free City's company is called Tsunami. Soon-nami. Soon. I've been saying for years that we're in the midst of a very real transition from lead to gold. The golden age is calling. Shall this occur soon? When we stay awake, aware, and alive, we are able to courageously step into the path of synchronistic manifestation, rather than feel like our experiences are bound by the forces of time and by external nuisances. At the end of the movie, the masculine and feminine come together, and Guy gets to enjoy the new atmosphere of the new game, a game that is not about destruction, but simply about harmonious experience. The universe is a Russian doll. What is occurring is truly a love story played out in a hall of mirrors. This process of ascension is ultimately about the joining of the feminine and masculine energies of the cosmos. The divine feminine and sacred masculine commonly come together at the end of movies to reveal the fate of the living. And as they're joined together, of course, paradise is now opened up. The Sophia Christos is the name I give for the joining of these energies. United, the Sophia Christos manifests freedom, bliss, truth, fun, wonder, love, play, inspiration, and innocence unbounded. The trials and tribulations we experience are perfect. After all, we are in purgatory, and purgatory allows us to experience the twisted nature of the false self in order to uncover the true, infinite, boundless self, the self which is not separate from the force known as God or the Holy Spirit, the self which is authentic, not hiding under false colors, pretenses, or hidden intentions. Let us be naked. It is said that Adam and Eve were naked in the garden and became ashamed about their bodies after sinning. To me, this references the sort of naked innocence that the living souls carry behind all of the falsity. Keep up the great work. Thank you for watching. I know a place where rest is on.
There's a little lighthouse on an island and it is shining. The spotlight moves to break some lies. Give some life to the lovers that cry. I know a place true north and side. A vast magical landscape paradise. A black sun